The vast emptiness of space stretched before Captain Elena Reyes as she stood on the bridge of the Earth Fleet starship Horizon. Her dark eyes scanned the holographic displays, searching for any sign of anomalies in the uncharted sector they were exploring. The mission was simple: push humanity's reach further into the galaxy, seeking new resources and potential colony worlds. Captain, with picking up an unusual energy signature, Lieutenant Zhang called out from his station. "It's unlike anything in our database." Elena's heart raced. After months of uneventful exploration, this could be the breakthrough they'd been hoping for. On screen, she commanded, her voice steady despite her excitement. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a pulsating orb of swirling blues and greens. It hung in space like an ethereal jewel, its surface rippling with unknown energies. "Magnify," Elena ordered. As the image zoomed in, she could make out what appeared to be a massive space station nestled within the energy field. Its architecture was alien, all smooth curves and iridescent surfaces that seemed to shift and change as they watched. "Life signs?" Elena asked, her eyes never leaving the screen. Zhang's fingers danced across his console. "Affirmative, Captain. The station is teeming with life, but the readings are off the charts. Whatever's in there, it's not like any life we've encountered before." Elena took a deep breath, weighing her options. First contact protocols were clear, but they'd never anticipated a scenario quite like this. "Open a channel," she decided. "All frequencies." "Channel open, Captain," the communications officer reported. Elena straightened her uniform and cleared her throat. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth starship Horizon. We come in peace and seek to establish friendly relations with your people. Please respond." Seconds ticked by intense silence. Just as Elena was about to repeat her message, the view screen crackled with static. A face materialized, if it could be called a face. It was vaguely humanoid, but with skin that shimmered like liquid metal and eyes that glowed with an inner light. "Greetings, humans," the alien spoke, its voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate through the ship. "I am Zarthax, overseer of Harmony Station. Your presence here is unexpected." Elena fought to keep her composure in the face of this extraordinary being. "Overseer Zarthax, we apologize for any intrusion. We are explorers, seeking to learn about the galaxy and its inhabitants." Zarthax's expression remained unreadable. "Explorers or conquerors? We have observed your kind from afar, Captain Reyes. Your species is young, aggressive, unpredictable. Your arrival here poses complications." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "I assure you, our intentions are peaceful. We seek only knowledge and mutual understanding." The alien's eyes pulsed with an intense light. "Words are easy, Captain. Actions reveal truth. We will allow your ship to dock, but be warned, any sign of hostility will be met with swift consequences. We are not defenseless, despite our preference for harmony." As the transmission ended, Elena turned to her crew. She saw a mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces, mirroring her own emotions. "Well," she said with a wry smile, "it seems we've got our work cut out for us. Helm, take us in." Slowly. The horizon glided towards the massive station, engulfed by the swirling energy field. As they passed through, Elena felt a tingling sensation across her skin. The ship's systems flickered momentarily before stabilizing. "All systems nominal," Jung reported. "But Captain, I'm detecting some kind of interface forming between our computer core and the station's systems. It's like nothing I've ever seen." Elena nodded grimly. "Keep a close eye on it, Lieutenant. I want to know the moment anything seems off." She tapped her communicator. "Dr. Potel, assemble your first contact team. We're going to have some very interesting guests soon." As the horizon docked with Harmony Station, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into something far bigger than a simple exploration mission. The fate of human-alien relations, perhaps even the future of both species, could hinge on what happened in the next few hours. The airlock cycled open with a soft hiss, revealing a corridor that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The walls shimmered and shifted, creating an almost dizzying effect. Elena led her team, Dr. Patel, Lieutenant Zhang, and Security Chief Ortiz, into the alien structure. They were met by a delegation of beings similar to Zarthax, their bodies flowing like quicksilver as they moved. The overseer stood at the forefront, regarding the humans with an unblinking gaze. "Welcome to Harmony Station," Zarthax intoned. "You are the first outsiders to set foot here in millennia. I trust you understand the magnitude of this moment." Elena nodded solemnly. "We do, Overseer. We're honored by your willingness to meet with us." As they walked deeper into the station, Elena marveled at the advanced technologies surrounding them. Holographic displays flickered to life as they passed, showing star charts and data streams that boggled the mind. "Your civilization is clearly far more advanced than ours," Elena observed. "We have much we could learn from you." Zarthax's form rippled, a gesture Elena interpreted as thoughtfulness. "Perhaps. But knowledge is a double-edged sword, Captain. We have seen countless species rise and fall, their own advancements becoming the instruments of their destruction." Dr. Patel, unable to contain his scientific curiosity, spoke up. "Overseer, if I may ask, what is the purpose of this station? The energy field surrounding it is unlike anything we've ever encountered." Zarthax turned its glowing eyes to the scientist. "Harmony Station is a nexus, Dr. Patel. A place where the fabric of space-time can be observed, studied, and in some cases, manipulated. We are the Guardians, tasked with maintaining the delicate balance of the cosmos." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The implications of such power were staggering. "And you fear that humanity might disrupt this balance?" "Your species has great potential, Captain Reyes," Zarthax replied. "But potential can be a dangerous thing when not tempered by wisdom. We have watched your rapid advancement with both admiration and concern." As they entered a vast chamber filled with swirling energy patterns and pulsating crystals, Zarthax continued, "This room is the heart of Harmony Station. From here, we monitor the flows of cosmic energy throughout the galaxy. Recently, we have detected disturbances." Lieutenant Zhang, ever alert, picked up on the overseer's tone. "What kind of disturbances?" Zarthax's form seemed to darken slightly. "Ripples in the fabric of space-time, anomalies that should not exist. At first, we believed them to be natural phenomena, but now, we suspect interference." Elena's mind raced with the implications. "Are you saying someone is deliberately tampering with the structure of the universe?" "We cannot be certain," Zarthax replied. "But the patterns we've observed are too precise, too focused to be random. If our suspicions are correct, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for your species or ours, but for all life in the galaxy." A tense silence fell over the group. Elena felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. What had started as a routine exploration mission had suddenly become something far more significant. "Overseer," Elena said, choosing her words carefully, "if these disturbances are as serious as you say, perhaps this is an opportunity for our peoples to work together. We may not have your level of technology, but humans have a knack for thinking outside the box. Our different perspectives might be exactly what's needed to solve this mystery." Zarthax studied Elena intently, its glowing eyes seeming to peer into her very soul. "Your offer is unexpected, Captain. Most species, upon learning of such power, seek to claim it for themselves. You instead propose collaboration." Elena stood her ground, meeting the alien's gaze. "We've learned the hard way that going it alone often leads to disaster. If there's a threat to the entire galaxy, we're all in this together, whether we like it or not." For a long moment, Zarthax was silent. The energy patterns in the room seemed to swirl more intensely, as if reflecting the gravity of the decision being made. Finally, the overseer spoke. "Very well, Captain Reyes. We will embark on this collaboration. But know this, the stakes are higher than you can possibly imagine. One false move, one act of betrayal, and the consequences will be swift and irreversible. Elena nodded sullenly. Understood, Overseer. We won't let you down. As they sealed their agreement, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. Humanity had just taken its first steps onto a much larger stage, one filled with wonders, dangers, and mysteries beyond their wildest dreams. Little did they know, the true test of their newfound alliance was about to begin, for even as they spoke, the fabric of space-time trembled with the echoes of an approaching storm, one that would push both humans and aliens to their very limits. The days following the initial contact with the Guardians of Harmony Station were a whirlwind of activity. Captain Elena Reyes found herself thrust into the role of humanity's primary diplomat, a position she had never trained for but now bore with determination. The stakes were too high for failure. As Elena sat in her makeshift office aboard the station, she rubbed her temples, fighting off a headache. The glowing, shifting walls of the alien structure were beautiful, but they played havoc with her circadian rhythms. She glanced at the holographic display, showing the latest data from their joint research efforts. A chime sounded, announcing a visitor. "Enter," Elena called out. The door melted away, revealing Dr. Aditi Patel, the Horizon's lead xenobiologist. Her usually cheerful face was creased with worry. "Captain, we may have a problem," Aditi said without preamble. Elena straightened in her chair. "What kind of problem?" Aditi activated a holographic projector, filling the room with a 3D model of swirling energy patterns. "We've been analyzing the anomalies Zarthax showed us. At first, we thought they were random fluctuations, but look here." She zoomed in on a particular section, revealing a complex, repeating pattern. "This isn't natural," Elena realized, her eyes widening. Aditi nodded grimly. "No, it's not. Whatever's causing these disturbances, it's artificial and incredibly advanced. We're talking about technology that can manipulate the very fabric of space-time." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Have you shared this with the Guardians?" "That's the problem," Aditi said, her voice lowering. "When I tried to discuss it with their chief scientist, Silos, he shut down, became evasive. I think they know more than they're telling us, Captain." Elena's mind raced. If the Guardians were withholding crucial information, it could jeopardize not only their mission, but potentially the safety of the entire galaxy. She needed to confront Zarthax, but diplomacy would be key. "Thank you, Doctor," Elena said, standing. "I'll handle this. In the meantime, keep digging. If there's more to discover, I want us to find it first." As Aditi left, Elena steeled herself for what was sure to be a tense conversation. She made her way through the twisting corridors of Harmony Station, marveling as always at the way the structure seemed to shift and adapt around her. She found Zarthax in the heart of the station, its liquid metal form rippling as it studied a massive, pulsating crystal. The alien turned as Elena approached, its glowing eyes unreadable. "Captain Reyes," Zarthax intoned. "I sense you are troubled." Elena decided to cut straight to the chase. "Overseer, my team has made some disturbing discoveries about the anomalies. We believe they're artificial in nature. I was hoping you could shed some light on this." Zarthax's form seemed to darken slightly. "Your scientists are perceptive, perhaps too much so for your own good." "What's that supposed to mean?" Elena asked, fighting to keep her voice level. "We agreed to collaborate, to share information. If you know something about these disturbances, we need to know." The alien was silent for a long moment, its eyes pulsing with an inner light. Finally, it spoke. "What I am about to tell you must not leave this room, Captain. The stability of this sector, perhaps the entire galaxy, depends on it." Elena nodded, her heart racing. "The anomalies you've detected are indeed artificial," Zarthax continued. "They are the work of a species we thought long extinct, the precursors. They were the first to master the manipulation of space-time, and their technology far surpassed even our own." "What happened to them?" Elena asked, sensing the weight of history in Zarthax's words. "They fell victim to their own hubris," the alien replied. In their quest for ultimate knowledge, they tore open rifts in the fabric of reality. The resulting cataclysm nearly destroyed this entire sector of space. We Guardians arose from the ashes of that disaster, vowing to prevent such devastation from ever occurring again. Elena's mind reeled at the implications. But if the precursors are extinct, who's behind these new disturbances? Zarthax's form rippled with what Elena interpreted as agitation. We do not know for certain, but we fear that some of their technology may have survived, hidden away in the darkest corners of the galaxy. If it has fallen into the wrong hands, it could happen all over again, Elena finished, a cold dread settling in her stomach. Precisely, Zarthax confirmed. This is why we were hesitant to share everything with your people, Captain. The temptation to use such power, even with the best of intentions, could lead to catastrophe. Elena felt a surge of indignation. With all due respect, Overseer, keeping us in the dark isn't the answer. If we're going to face this threat together, we need trust, on both sides. Zarthax studied her intently. Perhaps you are right, Captain, but can you guarantee that all of your people will show such restraint, that the lure of godlike power won't corrupt even the noblest among you? Before Elena could respond, an alarm blared through the station. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing a massive energy surge building at the edge of the system. By the cosmos, Zarthax breathed, its form flickering with what Elena now recognized as fear. It's happening again. The room filled with Guardian scientists, their liquid metal bodies flowing urgently between control stations. Elena tapped her communicator. Horizon report. Lieutenant Zhang's voice crackled through. Captain, we're detecting a massive spatial distortion forming near the outer planets. It's like a tear in space itself. Elena turned to Zarthax, her expression grim. It seems we're out of time for secrets, Overseer. Whatever's coming, we face it together, or not at all. The alien regarded her for a long moment before nodding. Very well, Captain. Let us hope your species is ready for what lies ahead, for all our sakes. As alarms blared and the station hummed with frantic activity, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of human-alien relations, but potentially the future of the entire galaxy. Little did they know, the true nature of the threat they faced was beyond anything they could have imagined. As the fabric of space-time buckled and tore, something ancient and terrible stirred in the void, a force that would test the limits of their newfound alliance and challenge the very foundations of their understanding of the universe. The tear in space-time loomed before them, a swirling maelstrom of cosmic energy that defied comprehension. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the horizon, her eyes fixed on the main view screen as the anomaly pulsed and writhed. Status report, she barked, fighting to keep her voice steady. Lieutenant Zhang's fingers danced across his console. The rift is expanding, Captain. At its current rate, it'll engulf the outer planets within hours. Elena turned to the holographic projection of Zarthax beside her. Overseer, we need options. How do we close this thing? The alien's form rippled with agitation. Our technology was designed to prevent such rifts, not seal them once formed. We need more time, Toe. A blinding flash cut Zarthax off mid-sentence. The view screen flared white, forcing Elena to shield her eyes. When her vision cleared, she gasped. A massive structure had emerged from the rift. It was like nothing Elena had ever seen, a sprawling complex of impossible geometries and pulsing energy fields. It dwarfed both the Horizon and Harmony Station, making them seem like toys in comparison. My God, Dr. Potel breathed, her voice filled with awe and terror. Is that precursor technology? Zarthax's hologram flickered, its usually melodious voice tinged with fear. It is far worse than that, Doctor. That is a nexus, a mobile platform capable of reshaping reality itself. We thought they had all been destroyed in the Great Cataclysm. As they watched, tendrils of energy began to spread from the nexus, reaching out towards the nearby planets. Wherever they touched, matter seemed to warp and twist, reconfiguring into alien forms. It's terraforming, Elena realized, horror dawning on her face, remaking everything in its image. Zarthax's phone pulsed urgently. "Captain, we must act now. If the Nexus fully activates, it will remake this entire sector, perhaps the galaxy itself. Billions of lives will be erased." Elena's mind raced. They were facing a threat beyond anything humanity had ever encountered, armed with technology they barely understood. But they couldn't just stand by and watch worlds die. "All right," she said, straightening her uniform. "We need a plan. Dr. Patel, work with the Guardian scientists. Find a way to disrupt that thing's energy field. Lieutenant Zhang, coordinate with Harmony Station's defenses. If we can't shut it down, we need to be ready to fight." As her crew sprang into action, Elena turned back to Zarthax. "Overseer, you said these Nexus platforms were all destroyed. So who activated this one? Who's controlling it?" The alien was silent for a long moment, its glowing eyes dimming. "I fear I know the answer, Captain, and it is one that fills me with dread." Before Zarthax could elaborate, a new signal cut across all communication channels. A face materialized on the view screen, humanoid, but with an otherworldly quality that sent chills down Elena's spine. Its skin shimmered with an inner light, and its eyes blazed with an intelligence that seemed to pierce right through her. "Greetings, children of the cosmos," the being spoke, its voice resonating with power. "I am Selfor, last of the precursors. Your primitive attempts at exploration have awakened me from my long slumber." Elena felt her blood run cold. This was impossible. The precursors were supposed to be extinct, wiped out by their own hubris. Yet here one stood, commanding power beyond imagination. Selfor's gaze swept over them, filled with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "Your species are young, flawed. You squabble over scraps, while the true wonders of the universe lie just beyond your grasp. I have returned to correct this cosmic oversight. By destroying everything we've built," Elena challenged, her voice stronger than she felt. "By erasing entire civilizations." The precursor's expression softened into something almost pitying. "You cannot destroy what was never truly real, Captain. Reality is malleable, a canvas waiting to be reshaped. I offer you perfection, a universe free from conflict, from pain, from the tyranny of individualism." Zarthax's hologram surged forward. "Selfor, you go too far. We remember the destruction your kind wrought. We will not allow it to happen again." The precursor's eyes flashed with annoyance. "Ah, the self-appointed guardians. You are relics, clinging to an outmoded vision of cosmic order. Step aside, or be swept away with the old reality." As Selfor's transmission cut off, Elena turned to her crew. The weight of the moment pressed down on her, but she refused to be crushed by it. "All right, people. We've got a madman with the power of a god trying to remake the universe in his image. Any ideas?" Dr. Patel stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with the spark of inspiration. "Captain, I think I might have something. But it's going to require cooperation on a scale we've never attempted before." Elena nodded grimly. "At this point, Doctor, I'm open to anything. What do you have in mind?" As Patel began to outline her plan, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the strange twists of fate that had led them to this moment. Humanity, in its first steps beyond its home system, now stood as part of the last line of defense against a threat to all of existence. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of Earth or the alien civilizations they'd encountered, but the very nature of reality itself. It was a responsibility Elena had never asked for, but one she knew they had to bear. With a deep breath, she squared her shoulders and prepared to face the greatest challenge of her life, and perhaps the greatest challenge any species had ever faced. "All right," she said, her voice filled with determination. "Let's save reality." The tension on the bridge of the horizon was palpable as Dr. Aditi Patel outlined her audacious plan. Captain Elena Reyes listened intently, her mind racing with the implications of what the scientist was proposing. "It's risky," Aditi concluded, "but I believe it's our best shot at stopping Cell 4 and the Nexus." Elena nodded slowly, processing the information. "Let me get this straight, Doctor. You want to create a feedback loop in the Nexus's energy field, using both our technology and the Guardians to essentially overload it." "Precisely," Aditi confirmed. "The Nexus draws its power from the fabric of space-time itself. If we can disrupt that connection, even momentarily, it might be enough to shut it down." Zarthax's hologram flickered with what Elena had come to recognize as concern. The energy required for such an endeavor would be astronomical. It could very well destroy Harmony Station in the process. "And at Horizon," Elena added grimly. She looked around at her crew, seeing the mix of fear and determination on their faces. "But if we do nothing, we lose everything anyway." Lieutenant Zhang spoke up from his station. "Captain, even if we can generate enough power, we'd need to get close to the Nexus to implement this plan. The energy field surrounding it would tear any ship apart long before we could get into position." A heavy silence fell over the bridge as the enormity of the challenge sank in. They had a plan, but no way to execute it. Elena felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders, heavier than ever before. Suddenly, a new voice cut through the tension. "Perhaps I can be of assistance." All eyes turned to see a tall, willowy alien step onto the bridge. Its skin was a deep purple, shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that seemed to pulse with its heartbeat. Elena recognized it as Lyra, one of the Guardian scientists who had been working closely with Dr. Patel. "I apologize for the intrusion," Lyra said, its voice a melodious hum. "But I couldn't help overhearing your dilemma. I believe I have a solution." Zarthax's hologram surged forward. "Lyra, what are you proposing?" The alien scientist's bioluminescent patterns flashed with excitement. "The ancient archives speak of a prototype shield technology developed by our ancestors. It was deemed too unstable for widespread use, but in this situation, it might be exactly what we need," Elena finished, a glimmer of hope kindling in her chest. Lyra nodded. "Precisely, Captain. With some modifications, we might be able to create a bubble of stable space around a small ship, just large enough to get close to the Nexus and initiate Dr. Patel's plan." Elena's mind raced with the possibilities. It was a long shot, but right now, long shots were all they had. How quickly can you get this shield operational? "With the combined expertise of your engineers and our scientists, perhaps a few hours," Lyra replied. "But Captain, there's one more complication. The shield will only be large enough for a two-person craft, and given the delicate nature of the technology involved, one of those people needs to be you," Elena concluded. She took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "All right, I'll pilot the ship. You'll handle the shield and help implement Dr. Patel's plan." A chorus of protests erupted from her crew, but Elena held up a hand to silence them. "This isn't up for debate. I won't order anyone else to take on a suicide mission. This is my responsibility." Zarthax's hologram flickered with what Elena could only describe as respect. "Your courage honors you, Captain Reyes, but the risk is necessary," Elena cut in. "We're out of options and out of time. Lyra, how soon can we be ready?" The alien scientist's patterns pulsed with determination. "Give me 3 hours, Captain. We'll make this work." As the bridge erupted into a flurry of activity, Elena took a moment to gaze out at the swirling chaos of the Nexus. Somewhere out there, a being with the power of a god was preparing to reshape reality itself, and all that stood in its way was a human captain, an alien scientist, and a desperate plan cobbled together from ancient technology and modern ingenuity. The odds were astronomical, but then again, Elena mused, humanity had always thrived on beating the odds. 3 hours later, Elena found herself strapped into the pilot's seat of a sleek, two-person craft that had been hastily retrofitted with Lyra's experimental shield technology. The ship hummed with power a fusion of human and Guardian engineering that represented the best of both their civilizations. Lyra sat beside her, its slender fingers dancing across holographic controls as it made final adjustments to the shield. "Remember, Captain," it said, its voice tense with concentration. "Once we're inside the Nexus's energy field, we'll only have minutes before the shield fails. We must work quickly." Elena nodded, her hands steady on the controls despite the fear churning in her gut. "Understood. Are you ready?" The alien scientist's bioluminescent patterns flashed in affirmation. "As ready as one can be when facing the end of all reality." With a wry smile, Elena opened a channel to the horizon. "This is Captain Reyes. We're prepared for launch." Lieutenant Zhang's voice crackled through the comm. "Understood, Captain. May the stars guide you." As the launch bay doors slid open, revealing the swirling chaos of the Nexus beyond, Elena took a deep breath. "Well, Lyra," she said, her voice filled with grim determination, "let's go save the universe." The small craft shot forward, streaking towards the massive precursor construct that loomed before them. As they approached, Elena could feel the growing pressure of the energy field pushing against their shield. Alarms blared, warning of the immense stresses building up around them. "Shield integrity at 80% and falling," Lyra reported, its voice calm despite the dire situation. "We're approaching the optimal insertion point." Elena gritted her teeth, fighting to keep the ship steady as reality itself seemed to warp around them. Initiating insertion sequence. Now. With a blinding flash, they punched through the outer layer of the Nexus's defenses. The cockpit filled with a cacophony of alarms as the ship's systems struggled to cope with the alien energies surrounding them. "We're in," Elena shouted over the noise. "Lyra, start the sequence." The alien's fingers flew over the controls, initiating Dr. Patel's daring plan. Energy began to build within their small craft, drawn from both the Horizon and Harmony station. It was a delicate balance, channel too little power, and they'd fail to disrupt the Nexus. Too much, and they'd be torn apart before they could complete their mission. Suddenly, a new voice boomed through their communications system. "Foolish children," Zelfor's voice resonated with anger and a hint of fear. "You meddle with forces beyond your comprehension. Stand down, or be erased from existence itself." Elena's hands tightened on the controls. "Sorry, Zelfor," she gritted out, "but we're not going anywhere. This universe isn't yours to remake." As the precursor's fury washed over them, Elena and Lyra worked in perfect synchronization. Human intuition and alien precision combined as they pushed their jury-rigged systems to the limit. "Energy buildup at 70%, Lyra reported. 80%, 90%. The ship groaned around them, metal and energy straining against forces they were never designed to withstand. Elena could feel reality itself buckling, as if the very fabric of space-time was rebelling against Zelfor's attempt to reshape it. "Come on," Elena muttered, willing their fragile craft to hold together for just a few moments longer. "Come on." With a sound like the birth of a star, the energy they had channeled reached critical mass. A shockwave of pure possibility exploded outward from their position, colliding with the Nexus's own reality-warping field. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Elena felt as if she could see every possible version of reality laid out before her. Countless worlds, countless lies, all hanging in the balance. Then, with a thunderous crack, the Nexus's field collapsed. The massive precursor construct began to break apart, its impossible geometries twisting and dissolving as it was torn back into the rift from which it had emerged. "We did it," Lyra breathed, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with relief and awe. "Captain, we actually did it." But Elena's moment of triumph was short-lived. As the Nexus disintegrated around them, she realized with growing horror that their own ship was being pulled into the collapsing rift. "Lyra," she said, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart, "can you get a signal to the horizon?" The alien scientist worked frantically at the controls. "Negative, Captain. The energy discharge has fried our communications array." Elena closed her eyes, accepting the gravity of their situation. They had saved reality itself, but at the cost of their own lives. As their small craft was drawn inexorably towards the swirling vortex of the closing rift, she allowed herself a small smile. "Well, Lyra," she said, turning to her alien companion, "I guess this is it. It's been an honor serving with you." Lyra's patterns flickered with a complex emotion Elena couldn't quite decipher. "The honor has been mine, Captain Reyes. Perhaps there are worse ways to end one's existence than saving all of reality." As the rift engulfed them, Elena's last thought was of the incredible journey that had brought her to this moment. From a simple exploration mission to the saviors of the universe, it was more than she could have ever imagined. Then, in a flash of blinding light, they were gone. Two unlikely heroes, human and alien, united in their final act of defiance against the very gods of creation. The blinding light faded, but to Elena's surprise, oblivion did not follow. Instead, she found herself floating in a vast ethereal space. Swirling nebulae and distant stars surrounded her, their colors more vibrant than any she had seen before. Beside her, Lyra's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with confusion and wonder. "Where are we?" Elena breathed, her voice echoing strangely in the cosmic void. Before Lyra could respond, a familiar voice boomed around them. "You are at the crossroads of reality, Captain Reyes." Xelthor materialized before them, his form even more imposing in this strange realm. But there was something different about him now, a wariness that hadn't been there before, a flicker of doubt in his once certain eyes. "Your actions have disrupted my plans," the precursor continued, his voice a mix of anger and grudging respect. "But they have also opened up possibilities I had not foreseen." Elena tensed, ready for a fight despite their seemingly impossible situation. "If you're planning to reshape reality again, we'll stop you, whatever it takes." Xelthor raised a hand, and suddenly they were surrounded by swirling images, countless versions of the universe, each slightly different from the last. "Behold, Captain, the multiverse in all its infinite glory, every choice, every possibility, played out across the cosmic tapestry." Lyra's patterns flashed with awe. "It's beautiful," the alien scientist whispered. "And fragile," Xelthor added, his voice softening. "I sought to create a perfect universe, free from the chaos and pain that plagues existence. But your actions have shown me the folly of such ambition." Elena's mind reeled as she tried to process the cosmic scale of what she was witnessing. "So what happens now?" she asked cautiously. Xelthor turned to face them fully, his expression solemn. "Now, Captain Reyes, you face a choice. One that will determine the fate of not just your reality, but all realities." With a wave of his hand, 3 shimmering portals appeared before them. Each seemed to lead to a different version of their universe. "The first portal," Xelthor explained, "leads to a reality where none of this ever happened. You'll return to your exploration mission, free from the burden of cosmic knowledge." Elena's heart ached at the thought. To forget everything they had experienced, everything they had learned about the universe and each other. "The second portal," the precursor continued, "leads to a reality where you are hailed as heroes. Your actions in stopping me become legend, ushering in a new era of cooperation between species." It was tempting, Elena had to admit. The recognition, the chance to see their alliance flourish. "And the third?" Lyra asked, its voice filled with curiosity. Xelthor's expression became unreadable. "The third portal leads to a future unknown. One where the boundaries between realities have been weakened by our conflict. It is a universe of infinite possibility and infinite danger." Elena and Lyra exchanged glances. The weight of the decision pressed down on them, heavier than any burden they had faced before. "Why give us this choice?" Elena asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her mind. "Why not simply reshape things as you see fit?" Xelthor's form seemed to flicker, as if the very act of maintaining his presence in this realm was taxing. Because, Captain, your actions have proven that even beings as seemingly insignificant as yourselves can alter the course of cosmic events. Perhaps it is time for a new perspective to guide the fate of reality. Elena took a deep breath, considering their options. To forget everything would be safe, but it felt like a betrayal of everything they had experienced. The hero's welcome was alluring, but somehow hollow in the face of the cosmic truths they now understood. Which left the third option, a future unknown, filled with both promise and peril. She turned to Lyra, seeing her own mix of fear and excitement reflected in the alien's bioluminescent patterns. "What do you think?" she asked softly. Lyra's patterns pulsed thoughtfully. "We have seen wonders beyond imagination, Captain, and horrors too. But through it all, we have discovered that the greatest strength of our species, of all species, is our ability to face the unknown together." Elena nodded, a smile tugging at her lips despite the gravity of the moment. "Into the unknown, then." "Into the unknown," Lyra agreed. They turned to Xelthor, who watched them with an unreadable expression. "We choose the third portal," Elena announced, her voice ringing with certainty. "A future unknown, but one we'll face together." The precursor nodded slowly. "So be it. Remember, the choices you make from this moment forward will ripple across realities. Choose wisely, act with compassion, and perhaps you will succeed where my kind failed." As Elena and Lyra stepped towards the shimmering portal, Xelthor's voice echoed one last time. "Farewell, unlikely heroes. May your journey through the cosmic tapestry be one of wonder and discovery." With a deep breath, Elena reached out and took Lyra's hand. Together, human and alien, they stepped through the portal and into a future bright with possibility. The universe around them exploded into a kaleidoscope of color and sensation. Elena felt as if she was being unmade and remade with every passing moment, her very atoms singing with the music of creation. Beside her, Lyra's form shifted and flowed, adapting to the ever-changing reality around them. When the cosmic maelstrom finally subsided, they found themselves standing on the bridge of a ship, but not the horizon. This vessel was larger, sleeker, a perfect fusion of human and Guardian technology. Through the viewscreen, they could see a vast nebula stretching out before them, its swirling colors unlike anything in their home reality. "Captain," a familiar voice called out. Elena turned to see Lieutenant Zhang at his station, but there was something different about him, a confidence and knowledge that hadn't been there before. "Long-range sensors are detecting unusual quantum fluctuations in Sector 7. Should we investigate?" Elena exchanged a glance with Lyra, who now stood at a console seamlessly integrated with the ship's systems. They shared a small smile, an unspoken understanding passing between them. Whatever this new reality held, they would face it together. "Set a course, Lieutenant," Elena ordered, settling into the captain's chair with a sense of purpose. "Let's see what wonders await us out there." As the ship surged forward into the unknown, Elena felt a profound sense of rightness. They had chosen a path of uncertainty, yes, but also one of limitless potential. In saving reality, they had opened the door to something even greater, a future where the boundaries between species, between realities themselves, were theirs to explore and define. The journey ahead would be challenging, filled with dangers they couldn't yet imagine. But as Elena looked around at her crew, a seamless blend of humans and aliens, all united in their quest for knowledge and understanding, she knew that together they were ready for whatever the cosmic tapestry had in store. "All right, everyone," she said, her voice filled with determination and excitement. "Let's make history." And with that, the ship plunged into the heart of the nebula, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of two species, and the key to unlocking the secrets of the multiverse itself. 5 years had passed since Captain Elena Reyes and Lyra stepped through that fateful portal into an unknown future. In that time, their decision had reshaped not just their own lives, but the very fabric of interstellar relations and cosmic understanding. The US Horizon X, as their new vessel had come to be known, had become a symbol of unity and exploration throughout the known galaxy. Its crew, a diverse mix of humans, guardians, and other alien species they had encountered on their journey, worked in perfect harmony. The ship itself was a marvel of multiversal technology, incorporating advancements from various realities they had glimpsed during their travels. Elena stood on the bridge, gazing out at the swirling anomaly before them. It pulsed with otherworldly energy, a tear in the fabric of space-time that promised new discoveries and potential dangers. "Status report," she called out, her voice calm, but filled with the excitement of impending discovery. Lieutenant Zhang, now Chief Science Officer, looked up from his console. "The anomaly appears to be a stable wormhole, Captain. Preliminary scans indicate it leads to... Well, we're not entirely sure. The other side seems to exist outside our known multiverse." Lyra, who had become the ship's expert on multiversal phenomena, stepped forward. Its bioluminescent patterns flickered with intensity. "Captain, I believe this may be what we've been searching for, a gateway to the spaces between realities." Elena nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Over the years, they had encountered wonders and horrors beyond imagination. They had mediated conflicts between alternate versions of civilizations, prevented well-meaning scientists from accidentally unraveling the fabric of space-time, and even faced off against entities that made Selfo seem like a minor nuisance. Through it all, the lessons learned from their original encounter with the precursor had guided them. They approached each new challenge with a combination of caution, curiosity, and compassion. It wasn't always easy, but they had managed to navigate the treacherous waters of multiversal politics and cosmic forces without losing sight of their core mission: exploration and understanding. "All right," Elena said, straightening her uniform. "Let's do this by the book. Zhang, prepare a probe. Lyra, I want you to double-check our multiversal shielding. If we're going to peek into the spaces between realities, I want to make sure we don't accidentally unmake ourselves in the process." As the crew sprang into action, Elena felt a familiar presence at her side. Dr. Aditi Patel, who had insisted on joining their multiversal adventure, gave her a knowing smile. "Nervous, Captain?" Aditi asked softly. Elena chuckled. "After everything we've seen, always. But that's what keeps us sharp, doesn't it?" Aditi nodded, her eyes sparkling with the same curiosity that had led them to this point. "Indeed. You know, when I proposed that crazy plan to overload the Nexus, I never imagined it would lead to all of this." "Life has a way of surprising us," Elena agreed. She glanced around the bridge, taking in the sight of her crew, beings from a dozen different species and realities, all working together in pursuit of knowledge. "I wouldn't have it any other way." Suddenly, an alert chimed from Zhang's station. "Captain," he called out, his voice tense. "I'm detecting a massive energy surge from the wormhole. Something's coming through." Elena's hand instinctively went to the phaser at her hip, a habit born from years of encountering the unexpected. "Red alert, shields up. Let's not take any chances." The bridge plunged into the red glow of alert status as a shimmering form began to materialize before them. Elena's breath caught in her throat as she recognized the being taking shape. "Selfor," she breathed, barely believing her eyes. The precursor looked much as he had during their last encounter, but there was a wariness to him now, a weight that seemed to press down on his very being. "Captain Reyes," Selfor's voice resonated through the bridge. "It seems our paths are destined to cross in every reality." Elena stepped forward, her posture a mix of caution and respect. "Why are you here, Selfor? Have you come to reshape reality again?" The ancient being shook his head, a sad smile playing on his lips. "No, Captain, I have come to warn you. The choices you have made, the barriers you have crossed, they have drawn the attention of forces beyond even my comprehension." A chill ran down Elena's spine. What kind of forces? Selfor's form flickered, as if he was struggling to maintain his presence. Entities that exist outside the multiverse itself, They see your actions as a threat to the cosmic order. They come to correct what they perceive as an imbalance. Elena exchanged glances with her crew. They had faced seemingly insurmountable odds before, but this was on another level entirely. "What can we do?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her gut. Sulphur's eyes met hers, filled with a mixture of regret and hope. "You must do what you have always done, Captain. Adapt, persevere, and above all, remember the strength that comes from unity. The alliances you have forged across realities may be the key to facing what comes next." With those ominous words, Zalthor's form began to fade. "I have used the last of my strength to bring you this warning. The rest is up to you. Good luck, Captain Reyes. The fate of all realities rests in your hands." As the precursor vanished, leaving behind only a lingering sense of foreboding, Elena turned to face her crew. She saw the fear in their eyes, but also the determination. They had come too far, seen too much, to back down now. "Well," she said, a wry smile tugging at her lips despite the gravity of the situation, "it seems the universe has a few more surprises in store for us." Lyra stepped forward, its patterns pulsing with resolve. "Whatever comes through that wormhole, Captain, we face it together." Elena nodded, feeling a surge of pride and affection for her crew. "Together," she agreed. "Zong, contact Harmony Station and Earth. Let them know we may have a situation. Aditi, I need you to start analyzing every scrap of data we have on multiversal theory. If these entities are coming, I want us to be as prepared as we can be." As the crew sprang into action, Elena turned back to the view screen. The wormhole pulsed ominously, a portal to challenges yet unknown. But as she watched her team work, human and alien alike united in purpose, she felt a glimmer of hope. They had reshaped reality once before. Whatever came next, they would face it the same way they had faced every challenge since that fateful day, with courage, compassion, and an unwavering belief in the power of unity. "All right," Elena said, her voice ringing with determination. "Let's show these cosmic entities what happens when you mess with the combined ingenuity of the multiverse." As the Horizon X prepared for its greatest challenge yet, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the journey it had brought them to this point. From a simple exploration mission to the guardians of all reality, it was more than she could have ever imagined. But as she looked at the faces of her crew, saw the trust and determination in their eyes, she knew one thing for certain. Whatever the multiverse threw at them next, they would face it together. And in that unity lay their greatest strength, a power that could reshape reality itself. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.